Let's get back now to the big story playing out down on the Outer Banks. The supermoon and the king tides have generated coastal flooding problems along parts of the East Coast. Some of the highest astronomical tides of the year in places, and this is just 9 days after, just days after 9 homes collapsed into the sea. This was near Buxton, North Carolina. The high tides, the powerful surf are to blame. And now homes that were once a block or more away from the water, they're now oceanfront properties. Not only do people live in some of these homes, but many are also rented out. Vrbo, Airbnb as vacation spots. Nikki Rozier was on vacation with her family in the Outer Banks when another home collapsed. It came down nearby. Nikki joins us now here on Fox Weather. Thank you for being here. I was reading about your story. When you arrived, you couldn't see the ocean from your rental, but by the time you left, you most certainly could. This whole thing must have been a pretty unsettling experience to go through.
It was different, that's for sure. We could see the ocean, but we definitely had a blocked view from all the homes being there. But I think it was a week ago today, Tuesday, they started collapsing, and it was like a domino effect. When one went down, they just started going down like crazy. We were staying in the house right behind this, and that was from the balcony of the home we were renting.
Wow. And Nikki, this is a favorite spot for you and your family, right? You've been to the Outer Banks before. Have you seen the progression of this at all over the years as the Atlantic encroached and then eventually started taking down more of these homes?
We have. We don't always stay in Buxton right there. We like to stay in the different places in the Outer Banks, but Buxton is our favorite because of its access to Cape Hatteras. That's the house that gives me chills every time I see it, because that was right in front of us. We have seen it over the last couple of years. We've been paying a lot of attention, and it's sad to see. I mean, these are some people's dream homes, and lots of memories are made here, and it just breaks my heart to see this happening.
Yeah, homes that have been in some families for generations. And I know the question for a lot of folks is, what are homes doing there? And the answer is that it looked a whole lot different when those homes were built, some back in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. You had a very unique vantage point of this collapse. You said it still gives you chills seeing those pictures. Can you walk us through what that was like? What was going through your mind? Could you hear it first? Did you know it was going to come down?
We expected it, yeah. It was very loud. I mean, the waves were extremely loud, and it was very, very windy that day. The yellow house off to the left was the first one that went down, and I didn't see that at first. My husband was out, and he had just come back from fishing, and he told me the yellow house is down. And so we went outside, and then, we were watching, and I was recording and taking pictures because I like to scrapbook. So I like to have that stuff for my children to have as they grow up. And we were watching the people out there walking around in the debris and on the dunes, kind of concerned because of all the, nails and glass and everything else that was out there. And then it's an eerie sound when those houses start collapsing. And then the one that collapsed right in front of us, the waves were pushing it back. It just kept coming closer and closer to the house we were staying in. And I was worried. We had our youngest daughter and we had our dogs with us. And I was more concerned that somebody was going to get hit by flying debris than anything else, because that wind was very, very strong. We definitely saw Mother Nature's fury that day, and it was a creepy sound hearing those boards hit everything. And that other house down there that the one bumped into, it had taken quite a beating that day, from the water hitting it to debris flying around, and then the house pushing into it. We actually thought that one might go as well. But when we left the island last weekend, it was still there.
Yeah. Nikki, as you're watching all this play out, I know you were increasingly uncomfortable as you're watching these scenes. At what point were you saying, this is it for our trip? Did you speak with the owner of the property? At what point did you decide to get out of there?
Well, actually, it's kind of funny because we kind of knew, like, we need to be very aware. We weren't sure if we were going to be made to evacuate the island, but it's very different on the island. If you're up in, Nags Head or Avon or something, the weather there is so different from what you experience in Buxton. And it was like Buxton was under a cloud this week. But I don't know if I can say this, but I'm going to say it. But it definitely was a God story for me because people were placed in the right place at the right time that day. My husband was outside talking with somebody, and my daughter and I were carrying stuff up and down the stairs to get loaded because by the time the third house collapsed, I told him we need to go. We need to do something. And I met a woman who was there for the homeowner, and she put me on the phone with the homeowner, and the homeowner told me she was going to reach out to Vacasa to get us moved because we, obviously shouldn't be staying there. And so that was maybe about an hour's worth of time that went by. By the time we got everything loaded into the truck and we were ready to leave, we had options of other places to stay somewhere safer on the island.
Yeah, those feelings, those instincts, and you have to trust that. This is some entry into the scrapbook, and for the history of this part of North Carolina, a very difficult chapter. Nikki, we're glad you and your family are safe. Thanks for telling us about it here on Fox Weather.
Thank you. Thanks.